Howdy, I'm Dillon Fisher, and I first just wanted to say thank you for hosting this design competition so that young engineers like me can get our ideas out in the world. Have you ever gotten to the end of a meeting and thought, we still haven't discussed this very important topics yet, so now we're going to have to reschedule the meeting or extend it, and now we're just wasting your time, your coworkers' time, and your company's time? Well, the stock clock will fix that. Essentially what it is you have a clock and it is backlit by RGB LEDs so that you will have a green light whenever you have plenty of time to talk, a yellow light when there's maybe 10-20 minutes left in the meeting, and a red light when the meeting's over and you're really just going to talk about the important stuff. The general design of the clock is shown here. So you have your face of the clock, you have your little RGBs here, and then you have all the wiring in the back. And in between the RGBs and the face, you have this opaque piece of glass so that the light just looks like one unit and it just looks cleaner. So you can't see all the little RGBs in the middle. The clock itself will communicate with the central server. Now the server doesn't have to be very powerful. It can be just maybe a Raspberry Pi, or it can just be a program on a IT's computer instead. And so the central server will communicate with each clock individually. The way that you communicate with the central server itself is by two ways. The first way is by email. And you would do that by sending it a text file to one of the stock clock emails that says C001, meaning clock number 1, and T0745, meaning time 7:45. That will tell the schedule for clock number 1. There's a meeting that ends at 7:45 in the morning. And it'll read all of these T's for clock 1, and once it gets to clock 2, it'll read all of those T's. It'll just go from clocks all the way up to however many you have, and it'll make a schedule out of that. That is the first way to make a schedule, to send a schedule to the central server. The second way is probably a little bit more convenient and better for companies, because most companies, like I know Fujitsu, has a program that schedules different conference rooms for them, so that no two groups are going to be in there at the same time. So the way that the central server could connect to that is just through the private network that Fujitsu has. It would just be very convenient, and that would work well. So the central server every day at midnight sends a text file to each clock individually, telling them when they need to turn yellow, when they need to turn red, and when they need to turn back to green. And that will happen for each room individually. Okay, so say that maybe you send an email to your central server and there's a typo in it, or the meeting time isn't registered properly. Well, that's an easy fix, because the central server on your Raspberry Pi or your program, it will have a GUI, and it will show all of your available clocks here. So you can add clocks, and those will be found on your private network. And if you select a clock, it will show a schedule here. And so there you can click and toggle where you want meetings to be. And this is just a good interface for fixing stuff. And you can resend the schedule to fix a meeting for later that day, as opposed to not being able to fix it. You can configure a daily system, and a daily system is, instead of having a different set of meetings every day, you just have one set of times and it's used every day continuously. So instead of getting a new text file, instead of the clock getting a new text file every morning, it just uses the same one. So say a school would use something like that. You can have a weekly system, which is similar, but on a weekly basis. You can configure your yellow times, and yellow time is essentially the time before the clock turns red. So say you can adjust it for, if you have maybe a 20-minute meeting, you won't need the same yellow time as if you have a 4-hour meeting. And that's all I had to say. Thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation. Thanks, Diego.